Mrs. Annette Lantos, we are so grateful that you are willing to share with us on this day of memorial of the tragedies that took place on September 11, 2001 in the United States, where you and Tom Lantos, your husband, were, and what were your thoughts at this time,
Yes.
10 years ago today?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and of course, like for everybody else, that date has been seared into our memory. One doesn't remember many other days, specific days in one's life, but that day everybody, I'm sure in Washington, will remember as though it happened yesterday. And we were in Congress, we were at the Rayburn building in my husband's office, awaiting our usual morning meetings, when suddenly we hear a big bell, not the usual bell that announced that there is a session in Congress, but a handbell ringing, and somebody running down the corridor shouting, "Evacuate, evacuate." And of course we are not prepared for such crisis situations in America. I remember such crises in Hungary during the war, but this doesn't happen in Washington. And at first we thought that it was a joke, or it was some crazy person, trying to create disturbance. We stepped out of the office and we saw that from every office people were streaming out. People who had the television on already realized that there was an attack in New York. New York has been attacked by a couple of planes, and that the planes were streaming towards Washington. We didn't have the television on, so we didn't realize really what was happening. But by the time we were running down the stairs, of course, it was evident that everybody was fearing an attack on the Capitol, and planes were headed in our direction. But of course, we were also more ready to defend the Capitol, which they were not ready, of course, in New York. And the planes hit because it was a complete surprise. But we managed to get down 4 floors with our little dog under my arms, people running. I had to carry him because there were so many people that if I wouldn't have picked him up, he would have been stepped upon because people were in a panic. And we got out on the street, and then we started heading towards our home. We didn't live too far from the Capitol, so we managed to get home in about 10 minutes. And we came in and opened the television and realized the chaos and the cacophony that was prevailing throughout the West Coast, East Coast, New York, Washington. And we were waiting for further developments.
What were your thoughts that terrorists had attacked the United States?
Well, it brought back memories of the World War II in Hungary. It brought back memories of the air raids and the siege of Budapest, and the times when we spent our lives in air raid shelters, and we felt that those days were behind us, and it was almost inconceivable that something like this could happen in America. But we were not without precedent in our life.
I remember you remarking that these at least were enemies attacking our country.
Yes.
And our own nation, the Americans, were defending its people.
Exactly.
What did you think about?
That was a big difference, yes.
There.
In Hungary, when during the war, we had to flee and escape our own people, the Hungarians, the SS who were occupying the country, the Hungarian gendarmes who were looking for us and hunting us down. And it was a big difference, the experience of escaping a common enemy from the outside, or trying to defend ourselves against our own people and fleeing from our own neighborhoods, and expecting to be basically killed by our neighbors was a very different experience, and it made us realize what a different world we live in the United States, and more than ever we were grateful for this country.
What would be a message that you have for people in Hungary who are taking the time to observe and to remember and pay honor to those who died at 9/11?
I appreciate the fact that they remember the United States. They remember what a bulwark the United States is in the world against terrorism, against evils of any kind. And I appreciate the fact that people honor the fact that we too had a moment of terror, and how we reacted and how we pulled together.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Lantos, and thanks for your time. And I know that you join us in sending our best greetings to those in Hungary who share this solemn memorial occasion.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.